YouTube have just done something that has everyone shaking, and whenever I tell you that whenever I read their statement, my jaw dropped and I went, there's no way. Like, there's no way that they're doing this. There's no way that they're leaving us hanging this year. This year as in 2020. So, for a little bit of reference, keep in mind that YouTube and, you know, their standing with the community has kind of been a bit iffy within recent times. People have been saying how there's not a lot of transparency between the company and, you know, the people who are, like, working there, but also the audience who are watching. And speaking as, you know, I would consider myself as much a content creator as I would an audience member because I watch so many YouTubers and I love this platform. So it's kind of like, I like, you know, seeing it from both angles, and I see a lot of people, you know, like viewers talking about their experiences with YouTube as a company and how they see their favorite creators shift and, you know, change their attitude and stuff, and it's like, you know, censoring themselves or, you know, changing bits of their content, and then the creator's like, oh, we did it a bit different this time because YouTube have different laws now that they didn't tell us about, and it's like a lot of back and forth. And so that's kind of been the YouTube community's point of view with YouTube. There's been a lot of back and forth, and a lot of bigger creators have definitely spoken out in the past with their experiences, negative ones, with YouTube as a company. Now, in my personal opinion, my experience with YouTube has been fine. They gave me my YouTube plaque, they verified my YouTube channel, they did everything in customer service that was, you know, nice to me. If I have any problems, I'm on the live chat like that, and they're very helpful to me. Even if they can't help my problem, we still have a nice conversation, and I still fuck with them. But that doesn't take away from other people's bad experiences with the company. And again, it's like we're all working for someone that we'll never meet. You know, Susan Wojcicki, hey babe, like, I'm not gonna meet Susan Wojcicki, but she's my boss. And that's weird, right? It's like you're working at a company, but you don't see the company, but the company sees you. So there's a lot of like little iffy things with YouTube here and there, but one of the main things, like the main thing, has been YouTube Rewind. Now, if you don't know what YouTube Rewind is, where have you been? Where have you been? Okay, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of like a backstory. YouTube Rewind started off as a really cute way of getting the most popular moments from YouTube as a platform and the community together in one long video, normally actually like 15 minutes, that YouTube would then post at the end of the year, kind of celebrating that successful year in YouTube. Now, it's had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. In recent times, the YouTube community have spoken out with their unappreciativeness, if that's a word, of the YouTube Rewinds, because they seem to be catering more towards like the Jimmy Fallons and the Jimmy Kimmels and Ellen and ads and money rather than the creators that people actually watch. And that's pretty fair to say because that's a majority of opinion. But back in like 2011, 2012 and 2013, I think were the absolute peak years of YouTube Rewind. I just think it was perfect. It was, you know, so cute, so nostalgic. I love watching them back. And then around 2015, it was a shift where there started to be, you know, a lot more like Ellen and, you know, paid advertisements, and just people weren't feeling the same vibe with it. And I remember whenever I saw like the 2015 one or 2016 one, or whenever it started shifting, I was like, oh, this direction, no. And it kind of stemmed that a lot of problems with the YouTube community kind of go back to the fact that people don't feel like they're being appreciated in their own community with YouTube, if that makes any sense. People believe, content creators, that they put so much into this platform and then they don't even get acknowledged at the end. And it's like, do YouTube have to acknowledge the creators? This is, you know, a conversation going on there. I say it all the time. It's like, are they really supposed to give every creator, you know, like the love and attention, you know, above like the little perfect child? No, because that's unrealistic, and this is a social media platform, a free one where we can all come on and post something, so that's unrealistic. In recent times, however, the YouTube Rewind has taken a fucking nosedive. Literally from around 2018, it started getting super cringy, not listening to the community at all, putting weird creators, just creating really uncomfortable ass, cringy ass fucking videos, and this was the same in just previous years as well. 2019 was the exact same, except they responded to the backlash of 2018 saying, hey, we're gonna do something in 2019 you're gonna love. And you know what they did? Watch Mojo video. You know Watch Mojo, it's like number 10, this one, number 9, this one, number 8. They literally did a video that was just counting down like the best videos on YouTube based on like likes and views and stuff. So people were like, 2020, what's that gonna give? People were actually like, YouTube Rewind this year is gonna be promising because, you know, they're gonna be working at home and creators will be able to be like, actually working at home while in the YouTube Rewind, and it might be nostalgic and, you know, give back some fucking wholesome energy that we possibly really desperately need in 2020. And the thing is as well, YouTube Rewind has always been known that it gets the community talking because it is quite cringy, so a lot of people were looking forward to, you know, that joy at the end of the year. I know YouTube obviously don't like the fact that they get millions of dislikes on these videos, but it is something that really brings the community together and they talk about it. So, now with that being said, YouTube have just released a statement in which they address and confirm that there will be no YouTube Rewind this year. And hey, in my opinion, this is not a case of they couldn't do it. Because if you look, singers are now doing concerts at home, like fucking movies are being filmed, music videos are being filmed. It's something that still can happen, and even if you don't want to leave your house, it can be done. But let's read out the statement that they did and we'll talk about it, because I don't know how I feel about it. It made me really sad. So they did a tweet that says about Rewind this year, and it currently has 251,000 likes. So it says, 2020. Since 2010, we've ended the year with Rewind. I'll look back at the year's most impactful creators, videos, and trends. Whether you love it or only remember 2018. I'm so happy they're like fucking like self-aware, you know what I mean? Because 2018 was such a mess, and we're gonna get to like looking at the different ones, but we'll talk about why that one was such a mess in a second, but let's continue reading. Rewind was always meant to be a celebration of you, but 2020 has been different and it doesn't feel right to carry on as if we weren't. So, we're taking a break from Rewind this year. We know that so much of the good that did happen in 2020 was created by all of you. You've found ways to lift people up, help them cope, and make them laugh. You've made a hard year genuinely better. Thank you for making a difference, YouTube. Now, I'm very split in my opinions about this, mainly that I believe they still should have went ahead with this, because I believe creators on YouTube have been working doubly hard this year in order to create content whenever their mental health is struggling, and trying to create content for their subscribers who maybe their mental health is struggling and they need a distraction. I believe that every single fucking creator has worked 10 times harder during 2020 than any other year, because we have to. And I genuinely believe in a year that people should have actually been celebrated, the content creators, they're not doing that. And it doesn't feel right. I feel like they should be, and this really annoyed me. So I also 100% believe this is just because 2018 was a disaster, they got so much backlash. 2019 was a disaster when they tried to fix that, they got so much backlash. So the easy way out for them, in my opinion, is to not do a Rewind this year. And I want to know what your opinion is on that, because I do think it's a little bit shady. I am going to read out some of the responses, then we're going to go through some of the Rewinds and talk about why I believe this is happening. iNabber responded and said, I think this is the wrong decision, guys. Love the platform to bits, but I think the trend of clowning on the Rewind is something that brings the whole community together for a good, harmless laugh. Please rethink this. We all need a good laugh, and the Rewind unironically creates fun, which is very much so true. Jerry Rig Everything said, wow, I completely disagree. 2020 has been different, but you should have a Rewind. Come on, there are plenty of things to be positive about, and that's the thing as well. It's like, there's so much there that needs to be celebrated from this year still, even just within your own platform, which is what you like to focus on. Let's celebrate the NHS workers. Let's celebrate, you know, the frontline workers. There's so much to still celebrate. And it doesn't feel right that they're doing this. Kira said, this really sucks. Tons of creators work 10 times harder, which is what I said, 10 times harder this year to provide people with entertainment and positivity. Because people turn to the arts, and that is the content creators, in any field. Just because this year has been bad, I think it sucks to not credit the creators who helped your business thrive in this climate. And I think that's really interesting as well, because as we're aware, most companies have been completely struggling under coronavirus, and YouTube has been doing exceptionally well because of the content creators. And I'm not talking about money distribution or whatever like that, I'm just talking about the fact that it would be nice for the content creators to be celebrated in a year where they really helped YouTube. You know what I mean? Now on YouTube, I typed in YouTube Rewind. So YouTube Rewind 2018 was the one that got everything really bad. As you can see, I've already disliked the video. I didn't realize I disliked it. I'm so embarrassed. It has 18 million dislikes and 2.9 million likes. Now this one was cringy. It had all your favorite YouTubers in it, but it just didn't work. Over the top in a bad way. But you know what? People came together and laughed because of it. They laughed at it, but they were still laughing. And I think 2020, we need a laugh, right? Let me ask the audience. Do you need a laugh? Because I need a laugh, and I want to see my favorite creators celebrated. There's so many creators that this time next year won't be in the rewind, but deserve to be in the rewind this year, because they deserve their acknowledgement. And I believe that there's been a whole new breed of YouTubers this year that has really kept people positive. And what if they don't get seen by this time next year? That pisses me off a little bit. Then we have YouTube Rewind 2019, which was YouTube Rewind for the record, in which they literally just did a Watch Mojo video, like counting down the best videos based on likes, and fucking music videos were incorporated in that and stuff. So yeah, not the best. It has 9.2 million dislikes and 3.4 million likes. So let's just put it together that them doing this no rewind attitude because this year has been different isn't really the attitude I believe a company that fully thrived during coronavirus should have. But again, that's just my opinion of it. But I don't know why you would disagree with your favorite content creator being acknowledged by YouTube in a YouTube rewind. Like, if you disagree with that, what's wrong with you? I'm sorry, but like, that's the aim. I'm not saying the aim is being on YouTube rewind, but it's being acknowledged. And so the fact that so many people, like I said, this time next year, content creators won't be acknowledged, but should have been, but just because their year has passed, pisses me off. And it doesn't sit well, and I genuinely think what Einaber said about how, hey, we all come together to laugh at YouTube Rewind, and we laugh at it for weeks upon weeks. There's so much, like, we're still going through the YouTube 2018 one and laughing. It's something that makes us all come together as a community on YouTube being like, wow, that part sucked, that part sucked, that part was actually good. And so now that commentary is gone, and it's like, I don't know, I believe they could have done it, and I believe they could have actually done it really well under 2020's climate, because I feel like people would have been less attacking of a YouTube Rewind if they actually celebrated the good that happened this year, because Google actually does like a rewind that's really good, and I'm sure their one will fucking trump all. But what I'm saying is, it would be nice to be reminded, of the good things that actually happened this year, because speaking personally, it's hard for me to figure out what they are, and whenever you're like YouTube who have, you know, people posting on your site or Google, you know what was the good moments, so it's probably nice to remind us of them to keep us sane, especially going into 2021, because people are having an attitude that, like that, you know, coronavirus gone, the world's back to normal, and we need to know if that's not the case, so it would be nice to have like a video that would make us laugh within those transitional periods. What's your opinion? What was your favorite rewind? What was your least favorite? And are you pissed at this, or are you fine with this? Let me know. I'm really curious to know what your opinion is. So I love you, I fuck with you, I'll see you in my next one, and bye. Hopefully they change their opinion on this. Hopefully they do an Uno reverse and they literally on like a random day be like, we made one and here it is. Because I feel like we would be much more appreciative of it then, because they like teased us, you know what I mean? We'll see. I hope.